All meetings of the select board are meetings in the public, not of the public. Members of the public must be acknowledged by the chair before speaking and state their name for the record, so the chair here does not get confused. We have one edit to the agenda. There are 7 arrows of omission in the tax bill, and we'll go over that part when we get to it. So we have appointments. We have Frank here to, and Sally.
And approve the agenda.
Oh, yeah, we have to approve the agenda first.
Motion to approve the agenda as written with the change of the errors and omissions.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. So tonight we have Frank. He's our representative to the White River Valley Ambulance, and Sally is here as sidekick. Welcome, Frank.
I put the financials in here just for the June, just so the cycle could see it. It took me a minute to think, I'm like, okay, this is kind of a funky layout, but I finally figured it out. And, but anyways, looks like you guys are headed in the right direction, right? So
Can I say? You know, I
say whatever you want.
know, I was just, I can like, just. So, me being here is, something that we're trying to do with Werva so that we just don't show up at by the time. So that you know that it's a collaborative effort, that we're on the same page, and that periodically I'll try and come and make myself available. And at the same time, if there's questions, you know, don't hesitate to reach out, ask me to come to a meeting. If Matt needs to come to a meeting, you know, our goal is to be a team. Even though we're a private entity, you know, half our money comes from the towns. And we have the same battles that every town has. And I know that battle really well because I spent my entire career in the finances for public schools and battled that battle every single year. I'm still do that back in New Jersey, except I don't have to live it anymore. I'm sitting up there. So over the past year, we've made some strides, we've made some changes. We're getting audited this year for the first time in 5 years. That was a goal for us. It was hard for us to find somebody who wanted to come in, even though we wanted to pay them because we're small and it's a lot of work. And a lot of that work, a lot of that work is the same amount of work, whether you're small or you're big. So small, you know, small organizations are not profitable for auditors to come in because they have to apply and have to report to higher agencies. So we were able to find the people that audited us the last time they've agreed to audit. It hasn't started yet, but the engagement's been done, and I think we just got, even today, we got a link to upload all of our files and do all that stuff.
Who is it?
Good question.
Tyler. Something. Okay. Good.
Yes,
No, it is hard to find. It is very hard to find. That's great.
We canvassed, you know, a lot of the communities, and we said, who do you use? And then we sent out kind of a makeshift RFP. We didn't get any responses, and they initially said no, and we basically called them and said, you know, asked very nicely, and you know, said that we did put some procedures in place which would make things a little bit easier for them. So they agreed, and hopefully we'll go through that process, because we believe that, you know, maybe not every year, but every couple of years, because so much is dependent on tax money that comes from the municipalities, that we think it's a good idea to kind of open ourselves up and make sure that we're doing the right things, and that our financial reports are accurately stated and we're moving in a good direction. I'm glad you shared the budget. I just sent out July's budget. We'll be sending that this week. We are trending in the right direction. You know, a lot of those increases were made because we were budgeting in deficit. And I don't know that anybody who's sitting on that board really knew that. So we corrected that, and we're tracking our budgets to actuals, and we're managing things. And, you know, so far to date, our revenues are significantly ahead of where our budget is, which is great. And our expenses are under budget, but they're right in line in every single category. So, we look at all those categories and we're trending it and we're tracking it and we're trending in the right direction. July, I just looked at it today. July, our revenues were a little bit under budget and our expenses were a little bit over budget. So July's budget is probably the first month that happened, but year to date, we're 7 months in, so we have 6 months worth of good data. So, and all of that, as we know, what's happening now is going to translate into next year, and
Yeah.
hopefully we get to come to you in 2026 without asking for a lot of money. But understand that we're, our biggest cost centers are salaries and benefits, and
We know, exactly, it's hard.
when benefits, we keep reading the same stuff and what's happening with benefits.
I know,
It's a
I
problem.
it is. So are you guys, talk a little bit about where are you all set with ambulances? Are you looking for a new one? You're having your anniversary and big doings.
So September 20th is our open house. Last year was our 50th year, so that was a big year, but we're still trying to do the open house and get some community engagements and, do some giveaways, and we'll hope that it's successful and that it's well attended. We're trying to get the black block again, right?
Mhm.
Howdy weather.
Pending.
That's cool.
Specifically with Bethel, we have that the first responder program.
You do.
My understanding is that was up and running like 2 weeks ago. So that I know was initiated between Werva, because you have to work off of Werva's medical license, and I know that there was some mechanics that got off the ground, and hopefully it's going to be a successful endeavor and benefit the community.
Yeah, hopefully it's a model too for other towns, because Sally knows, and obviously we did a policy for it because we needed to write a policy before we could get an insurance quote. Then we got the insurance quote, then they did it at SOG. So if other towns are interested in it, I'm happy to share our policy, and the SOG's on our website. They can certainly use it and send in a Word document if they need, and we got our insurance coverage and all that stuff. So I know they went on a call. I talked to the fire chief today and he's like, oh, we did our first responder call the other day. So they seem excited about it. Hmm.
If somebody can get there 10 minutes earlier because we're not in 10 places, and potentially make a difference, it could be,
Yeah.
couldn't put money on that. So the report that I have is a little bit dated in terms of total calls, but the struggle that we consistently have is like a third of our calls are no calls. So, we get sent there and, for whatever reason, listen, there's a lot of reasons why that stuff happens. It could be really serious. And by the time we get there, people are feeling better. They're nervous about, getting an ambulance. So we have to respond and we have to support all that, but we don't get any money from that. So that's been like 2 years now that literally at least a third of our calls are no calls.
Is that just in Bethel or
No.
overall?
No, overall. And then a lot of the calls that we do go on, many of those people don't have insurance, and we take those people. So we do have some of those reports which we can share so the amount of revenue that we do get, there's the revenue that we're taking in is like a third of the calls. And we have to be prepared to respond to all those calls, which is why we're not self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Our model is no different than, there's a study that's is it posted to our public website?
No.
So there was a study that was done it was very eye-opening, and it really kind of put us in the same light. And it kind of talked about what was happening with emergency services all over the state of Vermont. And a lot of the takeaways are that more and more municipalities are supporting these, and these ambulance services are running in a deficit and they're going through their reserves, which is kind of exactly what we did. I read this. It's exactly what happens. So, the goal is how can we how can we maintain and, alternate revenue sources? And there's just not many. And now we have these looming, threats to changes to Medicare and Medicaid, which support a high percentage of our population and on calls. So any changes there, are also something that we have to be very careful of, because, we're we're impacted by all those different items. So it's something that we're looking at, it's something we're, proactively trying to monitor and watch. And, Matt and Valerie are trying to do the best they can, juggling all the balls that they have and trying to comply with everything we need to comply with. We have, staffing wise, as the time this was written, and again, this changes all the time, we had 15 full-time providers and 10 per diem staff. So that's about the size of the pool that we're dealing with. And as you know, we staff 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we have to have, we have to be able to respond. So it's a challenge for Matt continually finding people that are willing to step up and work those shifts and be available. And you know that our geographic region is really, 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 really large. And that puts a lot of wear and tear on our vehicles. Our biggest wild card is our vehicles, because they're on roads that are less than desirable, and they put a lot of hard miles on those vehicles. So there's always something happening to one of them.
Is there a rotation, like a capital thing where you rotate like every 4 years or 5 years? Like, is there a,
It would be great, but we don't have a capital reserve.
right, not yet.
So
Well,
hopefully, if
but-
we can build this stuff up and we can do that, we can start budgeting into the reserve fund. But, we had to take a $370,000 loan out for these vehicles that we're paying off. It's, $6 or $7 grand a month that we're
Yeah,
chunking out for these vehicles. And we just don't
Yeah,
have the
that's-
luxury
so difficult.
to have all that stuff. And again, for years and years and years, I presented that at the public hearing.
Yeah,
Those rates were held flat. Nobody remembers that.
no, of course not.
They don't-
Same thing with the water system, Frank. We held the rates stay for years. Nobody remembers.
In hindsight, maybe if we had just done, more reasonable increases, we'd probably be in a lot better shape, and we wouldn't have tapped into those reserves, and maybe we'd be singing a different story right now, but we didn't, and we can't change that. We can just move forward, and hopefully, some of the changes that we've made, and hopefully the worst is behind us, because we righted all of that stuff. So that's our hope. We have, we're trying to talk about improving our community engagement, improving our outreach. And I think from everything that I've seen, because I'm like a little bit of an outsider, but if I ever mention Werva, everybody, Werva's got a really good name out there in all the communities, and the staff is well respected, the job that they do. Everybody has a lot of positive things to say about it. It's a drain. We wish it was self-sustaining, but that stuff is pretty black and white. The 30 of your calls end up in their calls, and you're generating that revenue, and you have a lot of people that just don't have insurance.
Yeah,
We can't say no to people.
right. I never thought about that your no transports would be that many, be that high. That's surprising. I'm not calling the ambulance if I'm missing an appendage. So, I'm thinking when it comes, I'm getting it. So I never thought about how many you have that they just sign off that they don't want to be transported. I didn't realize it would be that many. That's interesting.
That's the really against stuff we want to get, but I really just wanted to come here more to just open up dialogue and make myself available and have a conversation with you guys, because it is a big chunk. It's a big chunk of the budget.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, and again, also just kind of put, not be a stranger at these meetings, and not feel like you don't have an open dialogue, because I am your rep also, so.
No, absolutely. Whenever, just email me, we'll put you on an agenda, so it's fine, but it's good. We've been asking different committees to come and talk to the select board just to update them with what's going on and stuff. But no, it's really interesting. I was happy to see we used to get them in the past, but this was a little, obviously CompuCount is a little clearer we use them for payroll and stuff.
Way, but CompuCount is the only set of records we have. It's the only set of books that we have. Everything ties in, because that's the only set of documents that really matters. So
Right.
anything that we're doing that's above and beyond that is coming from the CompuCount reports. So we have one set of books and that's what our data is relying off of. So, I'm a firm believer in that. So.
Me too. Yeah, I mean, how else are they gonna audit your books if you have multiple sets? I mean, come on.
Right.
We get audited every year. It makes you better. I like being audited. It's, to, different standards depending on, GASB standards and things change, but it's interesting to, I don't know, it just makes you better. So I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing that. And that you met one of your goals. That's great.
Yeah. We've checked a lot of boxes, so.
That's terrific.
Does anyone on the board have any questions?
Does Sally have any updates about the open house thing?
Oh, do you have any updates about the open house,
Is
Sally?
there anything you want to talk about? I mean, because I know you were talking about doing a 5K, but you were also talking about having your Black Hawk. Is that on the 20th? And
Yeah, so not the 5K, we're pushing that to November 1st.
okay,
But we're gonna do a touch a truck, we're gonna have a child passenger safety clinic, so if you have people that need to have their car seats inspected, or they're just looking to ask questions, new parents, grandparents, whatever the case may be, we have certified technicians up, we'll have our AHA tent up with 2 of our instructors, and we'll have mannequins out there, so you can actually push on mannequins and see the feedback to see what it actually takes, and we'll have information, we have a blood pressure clinic.
oh,
We
cool.
have tours, we have food, got a couple of raffles, so
And your Black Hawk
I
helicopter.
really hope so. I'm like trying to not,
Get too excited?
it's still pending, but yeah, so
That's terrific.
we'll have the crews out and about. We have 14 vehicles for the touch and truck from all community,
Nice.
obviously in our coverage area, so
Oh.
it should be a good time.
That's great.
No dunk tank. I'm
No
not,
dunking.
not doing it this year.
That's
I
good.
didn't want to.
Yeah, Ben didn't want to be in the dunk tank.
It was a little cold last year.
Yeah. He's like, how much? I'll pay.
Right.
Ellie?
Are you seeing, Ellie Griffin here, are you seeing that's on Saturday, September 20th?
Yep, so we're the same day as the Forward Fest.
Yeah, and the big trail day,
Yes.
we're gonna have a big trail day at the Rexon.
Yep, we're doing ours from 10 to 2.
10 to 2?
Yep.
Okay. yours
I
is
can
10
send
to
flyers,
2.
I have flyers.
Okay,
So-
all right,
Yeah.
just wanted to.
No,
So
it
it'll
works
be a fun, busy day for.
for Bethel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
There's
it's
also gonna be a
Fundraiser.
kids soccer tournament down on the fields as well.
a big day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be,
I mean, there's 10 towns, so it was hard to pick a day that one town didn't have anything, so we kind of just joined in.
If you
Yeah.
send the flyer, we can put it on our website too
Okay.
for you if you want.
Yeah.
Hang it up in the
Yeah.
office, but that's great.
And there's a fundraiser too for, what's that fellow's name that got run over by a
Yeah.
log truck?
what's his name, Dave?
Belf.
Belf, yeah, that's from 48.
Yeah,
No,
so after the festivities.
Yeah, that's on Stockbridge,
Is it Kevin?
Kevin.
Yes.
Good
Yeah.
day.
So there'll be
Yes.
plenty to do.
Yeah.
I'll keep my fingers
We'll have
crossed.
someone
Free
next
color
weather.
practice. Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you
Amen.
very much for coming and explaining what's going on and the information on the open house. That should be fun. Yeah. Get Teresa information.
Yeah, I'll put, whatever you want. Yeah, that's great. but
Get it taken care of.
Thanks. Just,
Last year. Or the year before. Time flies. I got caught in the woods badly. And my wife went crazy and 911 immediately. I said, I, being a farmer, I'm still breathing. Anyway, we got out and apparently the 911 person called. But I got back to my house, there's 2 state cops, there's an ambulance, and I got
and the fire department.
and the fire department, and I gotta cut this long here. Now, my question is, your folks bandaged me up and, but I never got a bill or anything. How does that work? Is that a no transport call that you can't get any money from or anything? Didn't transport, but they
Gave him
they
first
they
aid.
took goods out of the thing and fixed my hand.
You better bill him now. No, I said- No.
No, but my
kidding. Even though
question,
they did
I
first aid.
would have paid if there was some fee, but
we're bound by the
Oh,
There's a few insurances that actually will pay, but it's a little tricky, so.
When I lived in Wallingford, they usually like sent out at the end of the year, like donations. And I know that, I think my grandfather had a lot of calls that one year. And he always donated a chunk because he felt like it was his way of paying the bill. So I don't know if you guys send out mailers or anything for donations.
Used to be years ago.
Yep,
I remember getting them years ago.
it's tricky. Because everyone's asking for donations.
Right. But I mean, if Dave got a donation slip, sounds like he'd throw money on it.
No, yeah.
if your light switch doesn't work, you call me and I come, but I'm not gonna take your light switch away, but I'm gonna charge you.
No, we do some donations throughout the year. We do Giving Tuesday. It's just very tricky when you're a nonprofit ambulance for a rural town to ask for donations. But we're trying to market a little better for people who can donate to donate.
Yeah.
Apparently the flyers in the past haven't been wildly successful.
Hmm.
So.
Anyone else?
All right.
Right, well, thank you again.
Oh, it's nice
Yeah.
to see you.
We're not interested, but.
But we're gonna go.
That's what we understand.
All right,
We get it.
thanks.
Thank you so much.
See you later.
All right, now we move on to public comment.
Have something under public comment, but I do have a question. I was chatting with some members of Ola's family last week, and they'd like to dedicate something to Ola here in Bethel. And I said I would ask what the process was for making that kind of request. And specifically, we were thinking about the Upper Church Street Triangle, maybe, because she gardened in it forever. But it was just, thought I'd come and ask and see what the process might be for making that request.
We've done benches and things before when Tim Mills passed away.
Yeah.
His family, raised money and they had 2 benches and there's a little plaque put on them at the band show. And then, one of the classes, Bethel classes donated, they also donated a bench and they had it installed at a little plaque but that one's, I will say, that one is a bit tricky. Only because, we've had a couple people run cars in there and stuff. I would hate to see something in there that got damaged, but do you think they're looking for just like a little plaque with some flowers? Are they looking to plant a rose bush or lilac bush or? Yeah.
Stone with a black brass plaque on it or something.
Yeah.
I know Nelson's Corner's been dedicated for 1,000,000 years down there, and I just thought, well, couldn't hurt to ask.
And I've never turned anything away when
Okay.
anybody's wanted to do it.
Okay,
No, motorcycle.
Oh, I've never, we've never really, it's not like they want a building dedicated, they just want to do a little memorial, and I don't see a problem with that,
Okay.
depending what they want to do, just, keep in mind when they're doing it, that obviously it gets mowed and, weed whacked. I wouldn't, if they're gonna plant something there, like, give me a heads up, just so I can make sure that nobody kills it. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Like,
Okay.
just so I'm fine with that.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So when they have some more firm thought
Yeah,
in mind, we'll
just-
come back to you and just run it by you.
Just shoot me an email or something, or,
Oh, okay,
just let me know what it is they've kind of settled on and, but
okay.
just keep about maintenance, snow plow, just salt, just kind of
Yes,
that sort.
I hear you, okay,
Well, I would hate to see them to do something and then something happened to it, so
yeah,
if I know what it is, we can kind of deal with it.
okay. All right, thank you.
Everybody looks old.
Yeah, thanks.
Perfect. Yes,
Hi, it's Matt Wilson. It's my first time going to this meeting, so I hope this is the appropriate time to ask this. But I'm here today because trying to kind of get a feel for if I were to do a community outreach, something that just benefits the community. I guess my question today is, what does this community need? What are we lacking? What would be a good you know, something to be provided. You know, I know we have, one of the churches here does a spaghetti dinner, you know, once a week. Do we need more stuff like that? Do we need, you know, help with the food shelf? Is there something else?
I know the food shelf is always looking
Always,
for help.
yeah,
For
and,
people, volunteers, donations, for the Catholic Church, I think you'd have to ask Kathy Day. If they're looking for more. Now, I think that when they do meals, they're well attended, but seems like, but I know the food shelf is always looking for volunteers.
yeah, and their
Um,
donations from the food bank has been cut, and they're trying to figure out, because there's gonna be people going to the food shelf because of rising costs in groceries, that probably both parents work, and they just don't have enough to cover their expenses.
Yeah, and Lisa'd be a good person to ask. Lisa is a library trustee. Is there something that you guys are for outreach, your little libraries, or is there anything that you're doing that?
Well, I mean, we're working on community outreach, of course, but,
Yeah.
you mean in terms of like donations or I guess I'm wondering, yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
what are you representing? Cause we,
just your individually yourself or?
I mean, I am here as part of Cornerstone Church, not necessarily
Oh,
with
gotcha.
them.
Okay.
This might be something that might be sort of a more church back thing. I don't know. I'm just
Okay.
getting a feel for now.
Okay,
But
sure.
really, I'm just looking for, you know, where are there opportunities to serve in this community
oh,
to sort of, you know, really help,
Gotcha.
especially, you
Yeah.
know, people who
Yeah.
are in the most need.
Right.
I know the Church of Latter-day Saints made don't they generally make big donations to the food shelf? Like they go and get food trucks and
They go
deliver
get food
and
trucks in the
help.
food banks, the different food shelves, Tunbridge, all of them around here in northern Windsor County, some in Orange County. Another place that needs some help, is the Royalton Senior Center.
I was just gonna say that, yeah, they do Meals on Wheels.
They
and
do meals
really
on,
need help.
yeah, and then they have a meal, I think, once a week, and I know their cost to prepare these meals is like $5 or $6, if not more a piece, and it's by donation. Some don't donate any, some might give $2 or $3. So their Superior runs that, and they're always looking for
Yeah.
help because people from Bethel get Meals on Wheels delivered, so that's
it's-
another huge one.
It's not just, it's the tri-town, right? So
It's the tri-town, yeah.
It's Royalton and other towns, but yeah, if you, on town meeting, Eric Richardson was there, and I think they doubled their request, right? Didn't they?
Yeah.
Did they go to 10,000?
They went up.
Because they just don't have the money and they need help cooking, and so the food shelf, I mean, she is pretty good about writing grants and fairly funded, but these
Yeah.
guys are having, I know that's I was thinking that when you were talking, and they
Yeah.
do Meals on Wheels, they might be a really great,
Yeah,
partner.
because a lot of people go there. I think it's every Tuesday
Yeah.
that they have a meal, and they never, get enough donations to cover what they're cooking. And they cook up some pretty nice stuff there as well.
Tuesday and Thursday on Meals on Wheels.
Yeah.
Right, yep, 2
Um,
days on Meals on Wheels, and they go everywhere with that.
Back there.
Senior Center is right in the town of Royalton, not South Royalton. They're on the left, right next to the church.
You know what else is
That's right.
interesting? Remember,
Yeah.
he told us that they were one of the one of the last Meals on Wheels that made homemade meals, right?
Right.
Everybody else was doing like prepackaged, and Royalton is actually cooking.
And
So-
that guy that does the cooking.
He is good.
Yeah, really good. Yeah.
He is
So
really good.
that might be a really great place to start, because as your church, there's other towns as well as just Bethel. That would be one that would serve, other communities as well. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Great.
Really appreciate it. Yeah, because I know I see Eric quite a bit, and they definitely, they're, right, it doesn't cover their expenses, what they get for donations.
I wonder about the food shelf and doing a collaboration for Christmas is coming and getting kids presents.
Project Happy Holidays.
It'd be nice to see a really good push on that for the kids.
Yeah.
Kelly from the Recreation Committee, and Shane Tinsley, I believe, is a member of the.
I probably know him by face, I'm really bad.
Okay, he has 6 children.
So, okay, yes.
Yeah, he's got 6 children. So we're always looking for volunteers for recreation and family programs at the rec center. Have you visited our rec center?
I have not.
Well, would say, please come and visit our rec center.
Okay, is that?
It's right, you go on Church Street and go around the curve and it's the first turn.
Where the skate park is?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
And that's a town committee as well, so
Yeah, yes.
we'll
and
try to
I'll
stick
be
with the
one-
nonprofits.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you
Nobody
stopping
online.
by. All right, nobody's online. Cool. So if there's no more public comment, we'll bump ahead to accepting Brian Wright's resignation from the Select Board on July 30th, 2025. We haven't met officially, well, we had one quick meeting last week, so we need a motion.
Motion to accept the regret.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Motion carries. Now we're on to the Town of Bethel flag policy. Therese got us another draft
This was with your information that
with
you
all the
guys
information.
from last time, I think, but because Ben and we were discussing banners and stuff, and so I added a little more information in there.
Yeah, I think it would get the links and stuff. It's all good. I think this is very clear.
Okay.
Just keep it simple.
Yep.
Well, 'cause, yeah, it was a whole banner thing, that's like, I'm trying to think of that, how to say that, so.
Yeah, stay
Um,
away from the BLTC one. All right, if there's no discussion, is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
right, here, I'm just gonna pass it around. Please.
All right, and a second-class liquor license for Tulsa Market, AKA Central Market.
So it's their second class liquor license and their tobacco license, yeah.
Motion to approve the liquor license and tobacco license for Tulsa Market.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and now we move on to Bethel Public Library's request to hold a coin drop on July 4th, 2026 from 8 until noon. You guys are on it.
That's good.
Prime time slot.
Yeah.
We're all over it.
I will say that it's probably the best diagram I've ever seen.
It is a very good
And
diagram.
complete.
And you probably have lots of the signage already and not.
Or do you
homemade.
borrow it from the fire department or your signage?
Well, we have some signage that's ours, but, yes, we can borrow from the fire department and the cones and that kind of thing. So
They're good about
we're
it.
actually thinking about buying the cones because we're using them often enough at the moment that.
Well, just keep in mind.
It's in the trailer.
Oh, they're cones
On
on
the
trailer.
trailer. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are they the
we'll buy
right-
Cones. Okay.
Or high with the high vis tape,
The what?
are they the tall enough with the high vis?
High
on the top?
visibility.
The
Yeah,
high vis-
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and
See,
we
I was
have
gonna
our
say,
vests.
Think twice about them because they are not cheap to
Fire
buy.
has the vest
Yeah.
and cones.
Right,
Excellent.
right, and,
And
Yeah,
they're not.
it's a policy, right?
okay.
Very much.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was a good day for us, and I just thought, I knew the fire department has a regular routine, and I thought we could get into a regular routine too.
Just gotta stay ahead, she said.
Yep.
Keep on.
Did you get the copy of the insurance?
Yep.
Yep,
Good,
that's
okay.
in here.
Yep.
And you guys have real signs as well, right?
Well, actually, we're gonna have real signage, library signage by that time next year.
Okay, yeah, because it helps to have the reflective ones that instead of some people just draw.
Right,
You can't
yep.
see them from a
Yep.
distance, so they need to have the,
Yeah, we have one of our board members who does that kind of work, and he's gonna, bring a proposal to our board meeting in October, so.
all right? Just need a motion, if there's no more questions.
Motion to approve the library's request for the coin drop on July 4th, 2026, 8 AM to noon.
Second.
All those in favor?
That's right. Thanks, Lisa.
And next we have the Town of Bethel's alcohol and substance abuse policy, and this applies to all departments. I had asked Teresa earlier to make sure it wasn't just
Just-
folks that have a CDL.
No, and there's sections that call that out, that say what, there's certain sections that apply to CDL users, because obviously CDLs are different and covered by federal. So I don't know if anyone has any questions, if I missed anything, that's a possibility.
You missed it, I did too.
No, there you go.
I mean, it's very, yeah. Second,
All those in favor?
Alright, let me read it, 'cause I gotta see if the. I don't remember, there's no, I wasn't sure if there was an approval page from the select board, I don't think so, but.
You all thought.
I-
All right, we have, everybody's got it on there.
Who was seconded that? I'm sorry.
I did,
Gordon, thank you.
Jordan, Ben was right on it this time.
yeah,
Let's keep this moving.
quick.
That's right. All right, and now we have 7 error of omissions for a duplicate tax bill resulting in a lowering
Well-
of the grant list.
Okay, so that's gonna be, so it's a little off this time, because I thought there was just gonna be, a couple, or just, I knew we were gonna get the E&O for the butlers, and I knew we had one for Fred and Penny. I didn't realize about the others, so error and omissions are just something that changed within the grand list. Now, James Gray, I had already applied his veterans exemption when I calculated the taxes, so that didn't really affect us. Housing Foundation is Depot 1, and that's the housing on Main Street. And there was just like a subsidy, that they qualified that just didn't get right in the appraisal process. The house on Sand Hill, they ended up, because they had 2 properties it should have been one tax bill, but they got 2 duplicate tax bills. So obviously only one of them is correct. And Fred and Penny, you can see it was just a matter of a span number that needed to be corrected. Ellen Sivrit was just the way that they subdivided some property that borders Bethel and Randolph. And then the second one that's on your table is Depot 2. That's a bigger hit. That's a drop in the grand list by 344,700, obviously divided by 100, multiplied by the tax rate. But they submitted their stuff for the grievance based on new HUD rates that were submitted, and the assessors just missed it. They had the information on time, they just didn't see it, because certain housing qualifies for special exemptions. So it affects the value of their property. And in some cases, they base it on income, right? Because it's all for lower income. So while there's overall changes here, to the grand list, I just always go into it the same way, trying to save money coming out of it and not spending all the budget. So you will see one more, hopefully we'll be done with one more at the very end of the year. Usually error and omissions, we do, you have to be done before the end of December. And these are a couple things we had listers leave, then we had part-time assessor, then we brought Jane in, so there's stuff that just falls through the cracks, and the fact that we hadn't had a townwide reappraisal by the time we were done for about 17 years. So these are changes that need to be made so that property values, so people aren't getting duplicate tax bills, and that the grand list is being brought in line with what the values are. So I don't know if you have any question. I just got the whole thing today. I was only expecting 1 or 2, so.
10 apartments,
Uh-huh.
What was the
9.
overall reduction in the grand list?
So she says here, what did she say on her first one? It's not right in the agenda.
I mean, I saw 200 and something thousand
Yeah.
somewhere.
Well, she gave me, let's see, we'd have to do the math, right? Hang on, 'cause
300.
It looks more like 600 or 700.
well, let's see, because remember, then you
Is it?
divide it by 100 and get your value. So if we say 40. What's the other?
Yeah,
one?
it's like
56,
650 or
7,
so.
Then 259. And that's wash, 400. Minus 100. That's leaves 100. All right, so 310,900, 310,900.
Plus 344.
That's a separate one. That's the other one. So 310,900, and then the second one is the difference is the 344,700 if you add them together. So if we take this one plus 344,700
I said 700 was close.
equals 65, 600. 65 equals 6,556. And then what's our tax rate times what, 0.886?
0.81. I thought it was 8186,
0.86?
something like that.
Okay. So you're looking at a hit of about 56, I'm gonna say 56, 38, 16. So by 0.86, so we're looking around 5,600, $6,000. So, so it just means when I go into the budget, I've got to know that obviously I'm gonna save $6,000 somewhere. Somebody ain't getting something. So,
But that doesn't trigger.
There goes your
a
raise.
Calculation of all our taxes.
no, because
That was like-
when we set the tax rate, when you set the tax rate, Dave, we're doing it with the grand list that we have as is. And we always know there's gonna be changes because people are gonna be late filing their homestead declaration. So somebody that we issued a bill based on as non-homestead is gonna be homestead. So we always know it's kind of a breathing entity for a while. More so this year because of the reappraisal. But I met with Stacy today. She's our assessor from Nemrick, and she said, by now, everyone's got their tax bill. So if there was a mistake, we should know about it by now. So anyway, so you just need to make a motion to approve all the errors and omissions, and then you'll sign both of these forms.
Motion to approve the errors and omissions.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so Ben is gonna sign this side and then, on this side. Yeah, my copy, if I have you. Thank you.
All right.
Second. There we go. You send this down to Jordan's. And this one. So you just sign under Ben on the right-hand side.
All right, now we're up to the town manager's report.
Okay. So the code of ethics is now, the code of ethics ordinance is now final, so that makes us we're all set with state law now, because we needed to do that because of the state, law about ethics and stuff. Interesting though, did you see on the news that now they're not willing to help municipalities? They started all this and then they said, we're getting too many calls, so now we can't help you. Like, yeah, see?
I don't want the news.
Yeah, he started it, so we have a new full-time year-round road crew member. He started today, Dylan Slack, who's lives in Bethel. Started off today, or their first day, the road crew, AJ brought in someone from out of state to do grader training.
They go on
So-
P-Vine?
They did, and they
Way
had
to go.
hands-on grader training, so hopefully that goes really well. Dylan Slack. Property taxes were obviously due August 15th. We collected 93.63% of what was actually due. And then we sent the school tax 53.16%. So it's a crazy thing. I don't know if you know this, Dave would know this, but if the rest of you know this. When we collect school tax for the schools, for the state of Vermont, we have to pay the school in full by June 30th, whether or not we've collected it or not. So even if we have delinquent taxes, we've already paid out the school tax. So fine, so what I do, in the past, I might have said, okay, what we collected 93.16%. So the school is entitled to 93.16%. But it's fine. I'm just like, forget it. I just pay him what's due because either that or I'm gonna take a beating later.
You gotta pay it sometime.
You gotta pay it sometime. So I try to we just keep them going. Pinello Bridge tomorrow, I'm doing a walkthrough with AJ because he has to maintain it. Chris Bump from V-Trans was instrumental helping us get through the FEMA process, especially me, because this happened in April 2019. I became your intern in June of 2019. So 6 years. I just want this bridge to be
It
open.
looks good. I went up
Yeah,
cemetery Sunday,
yeah.
Saturday. Really looks good.
Yeah, so we're gonna go through there and Chris Bump is, like I said, he helped with the plans and he just done all the FEMA meetings and stuff. I have also submitted a drawdown request. FEMA will pay us 75% of the 75%. So that's 430,000. So just to keep our cash flow going before because we're gonna finalize that project. We are getting our underground fuel tank just isn't gonna pass. We tried the whole anoid, cathode, whatever thing, and it was just not gonna cut it. So, and very pricey. So we've decided, so AJ and I, we went round and round with this. We're moving to a 2,000 gallon above ground double wall tank. The cost to put one in underground is crazy. So we hired,
Does that have a containment unit?
it doesn't because it's double wall. So we have, you have to hire an engineering firm to get your tank out of the ground, and then they have to test the soil so that if there was any leak, we have to, go through that whole process. And then you have to put it in a pile and cover it and then turn it for so long till it dissipates. And then we were working with CV Oil and to bring in the new tank, and I believe AJ's hoping to get the concrete pad poured this week. So, all in all, it's
Well, where's it gonna go?
near the other one, has to be X amount of feet from that building, 5 feet, we're gonna be at 6 feet. And I do believe we have to build a roof over it, and so it's all, the expenses in the end are gonna come out of the capital building fund. But I think we were about 18,000 for the tank and everything, but I don't know. I'm not sure I can't remember right now where we ended up removing the underground tank, and that of course depends if we have, leakage. So AJ and I were finally like, we just have to figure it out. The engineering for our stormwater project for Falcon Drive is out. This is another one of those long grants that takes a while. Luckily, Rita from Two Rivers is our municipal project manager, and we are dealing with a really nice person from the state. I just said, look, we have a 30% design. We could do it right now. Like so do we have to go through? So he's kind of peeling back some of it of what we are gonna have to do for the grant. Still gonna be, looking archaeological stuff and a couple of things to get the money, but I'm hoping we can get it done next year. Cause he's like, well, it'll take, I'm like, no, gotta get this project done. So, but anyways, so we should see, we'll have the answers of who gonna be the bidder is. I'm hoping, Du Bois and King did the 30% design, so hopefully, and that's included in the packet. Hopefully they'll just come in fairly cheap. They also updated our proposal. So, I don't know. It's one of those things that always scares me. I feel like we get these grants and that we spend so much money on engineering when we could have just built it ourselves. Phase 2 water project is actually wrapping up. We just got the punch list today. We think we're actually, Lord willing, fingers crossed, we're gonna be online tomorrow. Or not tomorrow, Wednesday, because tomorrow we have to do the sampling. If that comes back clean, then we'll be able to start on Wednesday, start filling the reservoir from that pump station. So there's some outside work to be done. There's a couple things they're gonna have to come back and do, but it looks like, finally, we're going to have that thing online. It's been a bit of a nightmare. So Hebert will be around. They were around, I believe, today. They're doing some work on Sand Hill, redoing some lawns, some seeding, that driveway, so that when Pike does come in to do the repaving of a section of Sand Hill, that they're ready to go. We completed this brick grant, it's called, a while ago with FEMA money. We had like a $7,000, I think that was our match. And but it's finally been completed and it's going to be, we're gonna use it to secure funds to replace the existing box culvert on Gilead near Winterberry. Most likely, FEMA had another funding thing out, but we didn't get it. So I think what we'll end up doing is just writing a structures grant. It'll be a lot easier. So we'll do that through the state. So that hopefully we'll get that done, and that I'm thinking will hopefully happen in 2026. So, because that's been an issue. VOREC is wrapping up. This grant ended up taking way too long, due to some hiccups at the state level, at least 2 years longer than it should have. And so he's doing great and he's wrapping that up. And he has to have some reporting done and stuff. We definitely have to be done by December, but he's gonna be done before that, so. And as I said, Pike will be in Bethel to do some paving in September.
They're on grind yet, right?
Yep, one lane. One lane, and Hebert has already lowered and reset the top of one of their catch basins. And they'll be doing the lawns and stuff, and then we did some ditching, and I think Hebert's gonna hydroseed that. A&E, you know, is contributing 16% of the cost. You know, so I sent them a letter. And in the future, if A&E is a low bidder, we will not be using their RPR services for their resident project manager. Or we're just not, we won't, that'll be that. I just, you know, we'll hire someone else to better protect our interests. And that was a letter that I sent them, that will take 35,400, even though I don't feel at all that that was the correct share. But this is what's gonna happen moving forward. I also said that they cannot use this project as any, on their website. They can't use it as any sort of advertisement for them. They cannot use it for, any sort of, what was the word we used? Something. We're not it's nothing that we're saying as a recommendation of them for this, and this is just about Sand Hill. And just said in the future, this is what we will be doing. We will put all of our work out to bid, which is not what we used to do for water projects. We would just do a planning grant with them for the water projects. In the future, everything will go out to bid. And if you're low bidder, that's great, but we will not take advantage of your services in the future for, you know, on-site resident project engineering. Just won't happen. So I've gotten no response, but that's okay. I wasn't really looking for one. Huh?
It was very poetically worded.
Yeah, well, I said it, I asked Ben to look at it and Ben sent it through Chat GPT, which was amazing, by the way. But it did say that my tone was a bit adversarial. I thought, that was very polite because what?
You haven't seen adversarial.
Yeah, well, Ben.
That was like the 5th draft.
Are you kidding? Yeah, you should see the first, but so that was really helpful, Ben. We sold the F-550. It says it's currently for sale. We sold it on Friday. So that's really just gonna be a yard truck. So that money is gonna go back into the capital fund. We also traded the 6,500 to Formula Ford, and we traded it. We got 53,000 for that, and then we purchased a Ford F-550 Super Duty with a dump body and a plow. And the invoice is in the AP that you signed. We that 6,500 is crazy. We finally, right before we traded it, I told Dave, I talked to AJ and I'm like, he put it in a bag. I'm like, don't breathe on it. Don't look at it. Just things kept happening. And we were in a situation where it's going to need brakes. And I think the first brake job was like 15,000. We sent it away to have warranty work done. They did $12,000 worth of warranty work and we still had the same issue. They didn't know what it was. And AJ are like, I wasn't even sure he was going to make it to Rutland to trade it. So we got rid of that and moved into a better situation. So we had to get rid of it before it cost us an arm and a leg. The pool's closed for the season. We thank everybody for a successful year. And I spoke to Gary Kugler last week, and the new fire truck is running approximately 3 months behind. I spoke to the fire chief, Paul Feeney, today, and he said, yeah, they'd expect it by March. But it's still faster turnaround than we thought we were going to get before. Also, too, Dietrich Feeney is going to be in charge of town report. We've kind of been freewheeling that a couple times in the last couple of years. So Dietrich is gonna take that on. And one of the things that we talked about in the office after we saw somebody else's was she may reach out to the art teacher to do like a little contest maybe for like middle school or something, like certain grades, or to see about picking the cover. And then she had some good ideas about in the future, maybe opening it to adult artists or photographers, kind of making it more of a community instead of just a picture of something we own or a, I mean, Voreck came out really good last time they did that project, but I thought that was a neat idea to try to include the school, and there's some in other towns saw it and we thought it's a great idea. So I think she's going to be doing a couple things like that. So if you have ideas or changes that you want to see for, town report, she's a person to talk to. So other than that, I think that is your month of up-to-dateness. I think so. Slap you. Where's your wife? So yeah, I think that's everything.
have the minutes for 7:14.
For who?
7:14, I got August 3rd.
I don't know. Did you have 7:14 minutes in your packet?
I did.
Yeah,
I
everybody.
probably flop mine all around and put it some.
Right. Here.
And there's also, 7:14
wanna?
and August 3rd.
Okay. All right, so next on the agenda.
Oh, wait, there's finances in here, your financials for July, which is not very exciting, but I did try to write you some notes, but if you have any questions, certainly ask me tonight or let me know, but obviously it's July, we're just in it the first month.
Yeah.
So, but if you have any questions?
Okay, you all good now?
I forgot about that, sorry. I think so. I think so.
All right, we have the select board minutes from 7:14 and our special meeting from 8:13. Yeah. If there's any changes.
Yeah, to
any
what?
of them.
He's like, he said, yes, you're doing.
Only
You're
if
gonna do it separately together.
if you're
and you
gonna
said,
make
Yeah.
something. Yeah, only if you're gonna make a change. We can do it together unless you're gonna make a change.
Funny.
Motion to approve July
14th.
and August 13th. Meeting minutes as written.
Aye.
Oh, I thought he said second. I couldn't tell if he was snickering.
Right.
He said second, but he did it with a smile. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed, none. Other communications, they're in your packet.
We did add it, I added the
The
charger
sheriff's thing is in there
there.
as well.
and the chart, I added the electric charger to Google Maps and then,
Put it in the wrong place, though.
Oh, Dave.
no, listen, I just did what I could.
It should be right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Well, it's
They're up.
not a very big parking lot,
They can find it.
They'll-
It's over
I hope
there.
so.
and you ordered a
Yeah,
sign,
that's right
too,
on.
right?
AJ ordered.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. So.
Yeah,
Right over there on the back of their house.
AJ ordered a sign for it, yeah. So I
Yeah.
was looking for. Let's see if it calls to Gilead.
Oh, God.
What are you looking for?
I think that's the hardest thing I've done in a long time.
Yeah.
That's all I saw,
Yeah.
so,
I slept 6 hours last night.
Yeah, there's more for Avon Drive than anywhere.
yeah,
Yeesh.
yep, so there's other, minutes in there. I don't see anything else crazy.
All right. Okay, any other business necessary to come before the board?
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, right on the